Okay, guys. First of all, I want to apologize for my audio quality. I haven't made any sorts of change at all on my audio settings, and I sound like I'm broadcasting out of Radio Free Europe. So I apologize for sounding like an old-timey radio announcer. But something's going on with my headphones. Maybe I need to get a new set or something like that. These I use Aftershocks is a brand that I use. It kind of wraps around the back of my head, and I have this little tiny thing. Some of you guys that were with us in Vegas probably saw me wearing it, and I developed a real love for these things, but they do go bad after a while. So I may need to get a new set of these things. But meanwhile, they still work, and we'll just deal with this for right now. But I'll get it fixed here, so I'm just aware of the problem. Okay, so right now, basically, I'm probably going to do a little bit more. We'll have to see tonight going into Monday what's going on. But right now, I want to comment specifically on XRP. And maybe if I have a little stream of consciousness, we'll go a little bit further. I want to tell you about some of the new toys that I'm adding and we're developing. And we'll just kind of cover that right now. That'll give you a little shot in the arm to get you down the road here for the next 48 hours until I have something more important to say. So let's talk about XRP. All right. So I've just been watching this, and let's go ahead and narrow this in. First of all, I'm sure this is probably giving a lot of you hopefuls that are waiting for the ultimate crash some serious stomach acid, and I'm in that group myself. I'm not exactly enjoying this, but let's see. Let's get all that there. So here's what we got. Let's just take it for what it is. I told you that I'm not terribly concerned with this getting out of control yet. You can very clearly, I can obviously put more lines on this, or it'll pop that back up. But we have a very distinctive line running right through here. If you just use your imagination, squint, you can see we have that would be basically trend line. Now we already have an orange trend line. We'll discuss that here in a little bit. We broke that orange trend line. That's been a very important line. We don't want to see that not be revisited and got back under here. We'll discuss that in just a second. However, if you take this current price action that we're at right now, we are at, we've got some historical highs and lows. We've got a little bit of resistance here. Our resistance is here, 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 and here. And we could probably go back even further. Yeah, we can make a pretty strong case for some hardcore resistance. That's to our plus side advantage for this not getting out of control. Now, let's go ahead and put the spaghetti back up on the plate. All right, so I apologize, guys. I'm trying to get some of these indicators. Maybe it's getting to the point where I'm going to have to start putting some of these indicators on other charts, or otherwise it looks like New York City and on January 1st. So let's zoom in. When you zoom in on it, basically it makes more sense. So if that gets a little bit much for you to see, just basically zoom in. All right. So here's where we're at. I just made a post on in VIP on in the X room about this, but I'll go ahead and I'll verbalize my thoughts here a little bit. So here's what we've got. Right now, basically, we are running up to the top of the channel. We've come down here. We've bounced off. See these green dots right here? These green dots are the middle of the Bollinger bubble. So we've basically double bottomed off of that. You can see we kind of have a small W inside of what could very well possibly be an M formation. So I'm going to give you the better version and then the not so better version. So I was playing a little theory that's just kind of, like I said, pattern recognition is something that's kind of my skill set. So I'm looking at this going, could that possibly be an opening move? Well, yeah, it definitely is. So an opening move can, as you know, to go back to some of you guys that are new with us in VIP and some of my ways of doing things, an opening move means basically whatever move is opened has to be closed. Equal on, whatever starts has to finish. So if you have, I'm going to use terms that are not applicable to crypto. If we have a 3-inch move, then you've got to have a 3-inch closing move. If you have a plus 3-inch opening move, then you should have either a plus further 3-inch continuation or a negative 3-inch dropping down. So let's just kind of make that a reality here. So purple is theory. So here's what we're going to do. So here, if we're to theorize that this is an opening move, this is our distance and what we call velocity for some of you guys that are new. Velocity is a term that I've coined for this. You won't hear anybody else discuss that. So velocity, basically, here's our opening move right here. So we made a very, very huge move right here within the channel. So if we close that move from currently where we are right now, let's say we get up here, we bounce off the top of this box, which is a high degree of likelihood. We just smashed the Keltner channel. We've got probably a little bit more juice in that, but I think, let's zoom in on this just a little bit. I think we probably got a little bit more gas in the tank here, where it might take a bop up there just a little bit, but I think it might ultimately hit the brakes right there or close to it. It might jump across, but I think ultimately it'll settle down at the bottom of that box, as we've seen so many times before. And this is actually there's an ISIS line there if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's an ISIS line right there. So every bit of reason to believe that this thing will probably stop right there. Now, if it were to do that, here's the interesting thing. Let's theorize again that this is an opening move. We're going to copy that. We're going to try and stick that closing move somewhere. Let's stick it on ISIS. Look at the beauty of this system. Button goes right on ISIS, drops you right to the 200 EMA. Right to the 200 EMA. Perfectly. Now, I have a little bit of a problem with that as being as pure happening that way. What I think it'll probably do is end up being our old friend, the 50% move. So let me give you the good case scenario is this. So basically what you'll end up with is you'll end up with something. Let me get my marker out here. You'll end up with basically this. You'll end up with an M formation, as we all know. M's continue further down, W's continue further up. So let me, while I'm on that, let me break here. And let me show you my new toys. Love my new toys. So we have a new toy. This is called ISIS double tap. What you're looking at is basically this formation right here. That's a W. Now, I've modified ISIS. We're now on 15.5 version, I think, or something like that. What you're going to see on some of these leading charts, you guys that are in VIP, you guys are in Platinum Plus, these are all, or Platinum Pro, these are all going to be put, double tap is going to be put on all charts. You guys that have now gotten the upgrades on Bitcoin 1 day, 1 hour, 15 minute, you're going to see it. XRP 15 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, you're going to see it. So any of you guys that have like 3 charts, these things are more commonly utilized in the 1 hour to 1 day formations and charts. And so any of you guys that have those time frames, you're going to see double tap. Now this will not show up. Now the thing is a lot of you guys are waiting for me to make the squiggles and the lines and stuff like that. You know, there's going to be a lot of charts, guys. This would honestly, if I'm being real honest, if I were to watch all of these charts, I mean, I don't sleep as it is. I mean, I need about 10 of me to be able to watch all these charts. So I watch the leading ones, and I have notifications that pop up, and they'll tell me, hey, here's something, out of the blue, like, crypto.com's doing something, IOTA's doing something like that. Physically, it's impossible to watch all this stuff. And it's also physically impossible to be able to go into these charts and make notations, keep them current, stuff like that. So I'm doing my level best to automate that system and kind of take my way of doing things and put that in the form of a bot. So what you're seeing here with ISIS double tap is this is exactly it. So this is probably, I logic that this was probably a good idea to do this because this is probably one of the purest, easiest plays in crypto. You find a double top, you find a double bottom, you play it. Now let's go back and let's review a little bit here. So when this starts happening, for you guys that are new, let's explain how a double top or double bottom works. Again, we were talking velocity just a minute ago. So let's just take this from the very beginning. I'll use a marker here just to kind of keep it open. So there, obviously, ISIS double tap has shown us that's a double. Now it wouldn't, if you don't know what you're looking at, that doesn't look like a W, but ISIS has shown that it is, in fact, and you're going to see how that plays out here in just a second. Now, from a double top or a double bottom, you always take that center point right there, and you go down to right here. And that gives you your velocity. Your velocity is this right here. That's your distance, all right? Now, you guys got to kind of know how to do that, but if you don't know how to do that, I've taken all the easy stuff and done it for you. So here's how it works. You take basically the velocity and you stick it on top of the W, point, 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 or underneath the M, as it were. And look where that puts you, to a line that's automatically done for you. The homework's been done for you, kids. All you got to do is copy the homework. It's right there. Cannot get any easier. Cannot get any easier. So basically, here's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you something else. You're really going to be thrilled by this. I love it when I'm able to kind of take the technology and be able to kind of bring it down to the point where the common guy can use it without having to understand all this nonsense. But you'll notice right here, I've really, really dialed this into the point where you guys are going to be able to use this stuff without having to ask us in chat what's going on. So let's stay on this for just a second. So this is your high water mark. So let me give you a theoretical way of doing this. So here's your double bottom right here. So we know that this is where we picked up the action. We went up here. So do we want to play it? Well, we start playing right here. So this is a small move on this one. So we would play it. And by the way, you'll notice there's a little notation right here that says long. It's telling you this is a play to play right here. So if you jump in, you got yourself about 9%. Again, not the most exciting play, but we identified a W, so it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So there's 9% potential to be making. Now, I'm not a leverage guy. I don't recommend that anybody, especially in this market, leverage. But if you don't want to listen to me, or if you want to play thin, you just can't help yourself. Maybe you want to get in on this, and maybe it goes further, because they do go further sometimes. This is telling you where the start of the action is, right here, and it tells you point blank, buy that. Now, it also tells you where the top of the action is, but this is the top of the action, but as we all know, there's an ISIS line up here, so you very well probably could go even further. So let me show you. We could very well possibly get up into the 10, 11%. So there we go. All right, now to the bottom side, what happens if this thing falls out of bed and drops, which it did temporarily? Okay, if it falls out, then maybe you need to bail on this thing. If you need to do that, it's showing you where the bail lines are. So let me zero in on this just a little bit. So if you're running leverage or whatever, you want to know when to get in and get out. If you're that type of person that does this, this shows you the target for the high side, which is this blue line right here, which is 21,695.8. Shows you when this thing is just basically all for naught. Shows you at $18,153.43, or 13 cents exactly. So I'm showing you the high side and the low side. And obviously, if you take that, you'll notice velocity. How many times have I shown you this, where they run it the opposite of what you expect? And this is a classic case right here. This is a W. Should have played. Should have went to that, and they dropped it. I mean, they didn't drop a little bit. They dropped it right on the nickel. I mean, right there. They took it away from you, because everybody was, if you zoom in on this particular thing here, that's screaming upside. And they just said, nah, and they just took it from you right there. So this right here is a very classic bull flag, and they screwed you and dropped it. So what this is doing is this is telling you it's time to get out of Dodge, and it'll tell you where the bottom is. If you wanted to hold this thing, this is not suggesting that you sell just yet. So it's also telling that it might have gone up. So we'll revisit that here in just a little bit. But anyway, so I wanted to share this little toy and this little tool. We'll talk about this a lot more. You guys are in crypto class. We're going to be learning how to use this. I'm going to actually do a video that's going to teach you guys how to do this. And by the way, I'm not going to turn this into a commercial. You guys are not in my crypto class. Get in there, man, because I got a lot of stuff I want to teach you. There's a lot more stuff that's coming up. It's a good time to learn, because everything's really, really slow right now. Talk nice to me, and I'll give you 10% off of the current prices. So we're going to try to get as many of you guys committed to learning how to use this stuff. Don't stand there and wait for me to throw you a fish. Learn how to fish for yourself. All right, so let's get back to business here. So that's kind of a cool tool, and that's going to be added to XRP. It's going to be added to Bitcoin. It's going to be added to XLM. Basically, all the ISO coins for you guys that are general users. And for Platinum Pro, we're going to have that across the board for everything. All right, so back to this. Now, if we go into an M, so that's what started me down this little rabbit hole. So if this goes into an M, then you're going to see that formation actually drawn in orange right here, telling you, yes, in fact, it is in orange. Now, so that would be the best case scenario. So I have my doubts about that. Here's what I really think is going to ultimately happen. Don't like it, but I think this is basically what's going to happen. What I think is going to happen, again, I referenced that we had an orange trend line that goes way back. We finally crossed it. That's a big, big event. Crossing that line is not good. Not good for guys that are hoping to the bottom side, but doesn't mean it's insurmountable. It just means that it's going to be hurry up and wait. So where I think we're going to be at for the next couple of days is we're going to be right there. And I think we're going to be basically bouncing around in here probably for maybe 70% of that, which will take you to probably about the 15th, 16th. Now, if we're using TA, and this is where it gets to be a little murky and gets to be a little guessworky, but I'm going to give you my best because you just don't know. If the world wants to treat us fairly, because that happens all the time, if the world wants to treat us fairly, then a flat side indicates 70% of the time we break it 70% of the formation to the upside. Where would we break? It's very easy to figure this out. Here's our velocity right here. We stick it right there, and voila. If we break it 70%, sorry, top of channel right there. Bing, to the point, to the penny right there. That's what should happen in proper TA. That's if we play this out. That's what should happen. Now, I'm not new to this. No, there's a lot of people that are not new to this. They're going to look at that and go, oh, of course, of course. There's people that are skilled at pattern recognition. I'm not the only one that are going to look at this and they're going to say, wow, this is exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to play it. I'm going to leverage this. And they're going to get busted out. Because what I suspect is going to happen is our old friend, the Jayhook. And that's going to take us the opposite way. So let me show you this. And that takes us the opposite way. It takes us from 70%, takes us right down. Well, it depends on where we come out of that. Yeah, we'll come out of the bottom. It will take us to the top of this. All right, so now it's going to get a little confusing here. All right, so it'll take us to the top of this. So now that we've passed this very important line right here, it used to be resistance. Now it's flipped to support, and that's what concerns me greatly. Greatly concerns me because I see a couple of things coming up. You'll notice you'll see a line right here. What this line is this is the long count, the Anubis long count, which very clearly is headed up. Not good, kids. Not good at all. So we're really crossing our fingers and waiting for the crash that logic tells us is coming. But as I see it in the charts right here, as I see it in the tea leaves and the magic chicken bones, it does not look good. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It does not look good for a drop in price. So it's always darkest before the dawn. That's put it on a T-shirt, put it on, carve it in the back of your hand, get a tattoo on your forehead, whatever. It's always darkest before the dawn. I'm telling you right now, you're seeing the fanboys. You're seeing, and I posted on this. You're seeing all these people love me some XRP. Oh yeah. Any day, court case gonna settle. Nobody credible is saying that. Nobody. And so what you're seeing is an echo chamber, and everybody is loving all over XRP, and the prices are reflecting that. People are jumping in, and they're bandwagon jumping in, and what's going to happen is they're going to get enough fish in the pan, and they're gonna knock you, and they're going to drop this thing. So let me continue further. I'm really getting out here with my theories, but or my explaining or my TA, but I want to make sure you guys are braced for this. So here's the short-term play. Here's what I expect in the medium term. Let's put that within a week. Okay, around about the middle of October. This is what I expect. So we either up or down. I don't think we're going to leave that channel, plus or minus. Let's just say that. All right. So once we get to that point, we let's assume we go to the bottom here. Let's go that direction. So let's assume we Jayhook, we drop down here. Now we've got an issue where we're contending with what is now support. So now we find ourselves in this formation right here, in that general area right there. This is when things start to concern me the most, because let's scale out. You'll notice we have an Anubis wave. I'll scale way out so you can kind of get a, you can kind of see this. This is not playing around. This is going to hit that, and it's going to go up. And when it does, it's going to take prices with it. And so that's what we don't want to have happen. And that's, by the way, going to be roundabout the first part of November. So, we got to get this done. We got to get a crash happening here soon. Not saying it couldn't happen, but I think the next opportunity is probably around about 15th, 16th, probably in this formation right here. If we take our next pulse marker and we move it over logically, that puts you right about here, about anywhere from the 15th to the 19th, right in that general range. So here's what I'm saying, is if we hit this, we're going to be ping-ponging between these supports and resistances, and God forbid we start doing one of these numbers, because if we do, it's going to get out of control fast. We're going to be 50, 60, 70, 80, and then it's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I do not see that happening yet. I just kind of want to make you a little nervous. but as for me, I'm not throwing down a nickel on this thing. I'm not chasing this at 50 cents. I'm still sitting here with a whole lot of XRP money waiting to buy back in, and I am not going to go buying back in at prices that make no sense for me. 53 cents right now is absolutely ludicrous. Knowing human nature, and this is where I fall back on me versus the world. Knowing human nature, knowing how this game is played, knowing the world in general, and just understanding consumerism. Market buyers and sellers might be sophisticated or think that they are, but they're still human. They still have the same hierarchy of needs. They have the same things that keep them up at night. They have the same things that worry them, and we're all basically monkeys in suits. We still we still act as if we're monkeys in suits. We have our fear and panic cycles as well. So When the market's dumping, why in God's name would XRP, rise up out of that in the midst? I mean, people, as I've explained many times, a lot of you guys are new in VIP. Human nature works like this. Pick your favorite stock, bond, silver, gold, whatever. When silver and gold might be a little bit of an outlier to this explanation, but generally speaking, when things go bad, as they inevitably will, we got wars and rumors of wars and all that other stuff going on. I mean, all the stuff that's going on in the world, any of these things can trigger. We have a financial collapse, which we know is going to happen. Do you think the whole world is going to go, well, let's put our money in XRP? No, they're going to go, oh shit, I don't know about this XRP. I was so into it. And then they'll sell. But here's the thing. The great equalizer that I want you to understand about XRP. So many investors are right at your level. They're people that are buying in that want to change their life. And listen to me very carefully, because I dealt with consumers that lost their houses and lost everything for 30 years. I know this better than anybody else you will ever meet in your entire life. I have sat in front of thousands of people and watched and heard the stories on how they eroded their life to the bottom, where ultimately the largest asset they had was their house, and they lost that too. Nobody understands this better than I do. So let me explain to you guys, because I've done this many times. Let me explain this to you one more time. What's going to happen? Let's assume we're all on board with XRP. Love it, wouldn't sell it, wouldn't part for it, with anything in the world. But when baby needs diapers and formula, when your children are starving, when you need to make a house payment, it becomes a hierarchy of need. And many of you, I know for a fact, I can name names, many of you have done exactly this, what I'm saying. You have basically shaved the sheep to the point where the sheep is freezing to death, and you finally have to eat the sheep. What I'm saying is you're going to have to cannibalize your XRP. As much as you're willing to believe that someday this is going to go to $36,000, you just can't make it. You just can't make it, because you need to pay a short-term. You have to pay gas, you have to pay heat, you have to pay food. Life is going to steal from XRP. And what I want you to understand is most of the people that are investing in XRP are not big multi-billion-dollar investors. These are not the people. They're buying off book. The people that drive the price of XRP are like you and I. They're common guys, Joe Lunchbucket and Sally Workaday. It's those people that drive the price of XRP, generally speaking. And when they start cannibalizing their XRP, by God, the price of this is going to go down. I assure you, every fiber of my being demands that this is the way things work. I've seen it for 30 years. Trust me. And you'll never hear anybody make that case. But the truth of the matter is, as many of you people that are in this group that are listening to the sound of my voice, you've already done it. You know it's the truth. You've done it with XRP. You've done it with Bitcoin. You've done it with all your crypto. This is how things work. There's only so you can't put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag or a 1-pound bag. If you've got 10 pounds of problems, you've got to go cannibalizing something else to be able to feed the need. And so you end up chasing your latest disaster, looking for money anywhere you can get it. And some of you guys hold out an awful lot longer than others, but the end result is when you're down to the only thing that feeds baby is XRP, you're going to sell your XRP. Promise you. Simple as that. So when you see these prices go up, understand this is not an isolated incident. This is not an isolated market. It is part of the real world, and real world dollars went into this, and real world dollars will come out of this in order to be able to help people survive. So that's kind of my sermon for today. Class dismissed. Have a good day.